Let's go ahead and call this meeting to order, and we'll go ahead and start with our invocation and our pledge of allegiance.
Let's bow our heads, please. Heavenly Father, we come to you on behalf of this horrific shooting occurred in Las Vegas, in which we pray for the families of the victims who were killed and injured. We pray that they find comfort in your loving arms. May your grace and peace strengthen each one in the days and weeks ahead. We also ask that you lead us into a productive meeting in the interest of our community. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag.
We need a report from the Chamber of Commerce.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. I'll begin with recent events. On Wednesday, September 27th, we kicked off our Thinking Outside the Box Business Workshop Series. This is a collaboration between the UTRGV SBDC Center, BBVA Compass, and the Chamber of Commerce, and we had 15 members attend this event. Next, on Wednesday, October 4th, we hosted our first hireability workshop in partnership with the Texas Workforce Solutions and the Texas Workforce Commission, and we had 11 members in attendance. In terms of upcoming events, this Wednesday we will continue our business workshop series from 9 to 11 a.m. The second workshop will take place at the Seed Building. We'll be alternating, and the topic for our second workshop will be small business branding. Next, we have our 2017 annual banquet, which is fast approaching on us. This will be held on Thursday, October 19th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Mario's Ballroom here in Mission. We will be honoring 3 members ourselves with a special award for each. In addition, the Progress Times will also be distributing awards to recognize special individuals in the Mission community. On October 26th, we will host our new and potential membership orientation, in which I'll welcome and educate and answer any questions to any new and potential members over lunch. This event will be held from 11:30 a.m. to 1 at the Chamber of Commerce. In terms of ribbon cuttings for the month of October, on October 27th, we will host a ribbon cutting for Brickfire Pizza. This event will begin at 11:30 a.m. and it'll run through lunch. The ribbon cutting will be held at their location at 704 East Griffin Parkway here in Mission. And then lastly, I'm excited to announce we are relaunching our Coffee Connection series, which will be held on Friday, November 3rd from 8:30 a.m. to 10 o'clock a.m. This will take place at Jitter's newest location, which is located at the Seed Building. Any questions?
Any questions? If not,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Item 4 is department reports are in your packet. If you don't have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
I move for approval. Second.
I have a motion second to approve the reports as they're in the packet. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. So only have one vote. Did you vote?
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear you, so I'm sorry. Ando sordo.
Okay.
Okay, so everybody voted. Motion carries. Es que tengo aquí platita a mi lado, es el que oigo. So we go on to our next item, citizens' participation. Have anybody from the audience that would like to address the council? I didn't chinga. No se quejen. Okay, we go on to our planning department and public hearings, I'm sorry. We'll start with our first item, 1.1A.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 1.1A is a public hearing for a rezoning of .234 acres out of Lot 1 Kirk subdivision. The property is zoned R1 Single Family Residential, and the request is to change to a C3 General Business zoning. The applicant is Jorge Enelida Rodriguez in care of Javier Hinojosa, And if the council is inclined to approve this rezoning request, it would require the adoption of an ordinance. On September 22nd, 2017, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing to consider this rezoning request. The subject site is located approximately 150 feet south of 28th Street along the west side of Sherry Road. Surrounding zones include R1 to the north, to the west and to the east, and to the south you do have a 3-acre general commercial tract. What we have here, Mayor and Council, is a large residential lot where the house is set back all the way to the back, and the owner of the lot desires to rezone the front portion to a commercial lot, to a C3 lot. It will have access through Sherry Road, and eventually when the lot further south develops, it will interface to the commercial development abutting it to the south. And with the proper buffering, there is some residential to the north side, but with the proper buffering, we feel that this should work. We did have a public hearing, and we did send notices to people within 200 feet, and there was no opposition for the request. The board unanimously recommended approval of this rezoning request. Staff and our city manager are also recommending approval. This is a public hearing. Item 1.1A is now before you.
Where are the houses?
The house is further back. Point to them with the mouse.
There's houses here on the north, Mayor.
Is it okay with the planning and zoning?
Yes. We'll probably see this as a trend because a lot of the houses that front Sherry Road, like this particular one, built their house or their residence further in. So it left a big portion of the front lot that could be changed in the future.
None of the houses on the side of the building.
There's going to be, no, there's a driveway leading into the residence that's going to remain there.
It's running into the residence,
No,
right there. You're gonna have houses there?
no,
Sir, the house
Huh?
over here.
no, the houses are further up, facing 28th Street.
That's the backyard, right?
Yes.
Okay, eso lo salga. Okay, we
And
do
there is
have a
gonna be a
recommendation
buffer,
for the
right?
planning
There
and
is going to be a
zoning.
solid buffer, yes.
You have a little question, you sound like you're a little worried about the houses in the back.
You know, as a matter of fact, I spoke to Juan Gallardo, who lives on lot 3 or 4, and he was okay with it. He says as long as they provide him with a solid buffer, that there shouldn't be a problem.
Juan de la Casa lives there?
Juan Gallardo.
Juan Gallardo?
He works with the La Jolla School District. I believe he's a counselor.
Okay, well, anybody in favor or against this request? Is anybody here with this project? Are you here? You're the engineer, you're the one that's making the money. Not all the time, but
Are you answering questions, Mayor, you may
is
have?
it going to be okay having the
Yes,
building?
Yes, like Jaime said, the owner's proposing to provide a buffer, an opaque buffer along the north side, so the residents will stay in the back, and so
But the building is big enough to cover the houses in the back?
the,
I mean, you're going to have the gold gym there?
No, sir.
The Gold Gym is
no, that's another project, sir. The Gold Gym's further south, to the south.
Wrong slide.
It's adjacent to the south.
No?
Yeah, the Gold Gym is the next property south.
There is, the reds,
Yes, sir.
That's the Gold Gym, and the blue is the one that's here for rezoning.
the blue is what?
The proposed rezoning that we're doing right now.
Okay, well, I'm not going to worry about it. We got, anybody in favor or against this request? Anybody? Okay. The recommendation is to go ahead and approve ordinance 4559 and approve
Second, Mayor.
planning and zoning as recommended. The staff is recommending it. And Mr. Plata is making the motion that we go ahead and approve. Do we have a second?
Yes, sir. Second, Mayor.
We have a second by Mr. Ocaña. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. We also have approved the ordinance.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 1.1B is also a public hearing for rezoning of
Item
point,
B,
is a rezoning for .72 .721 acres out of Lot 265, John H. Sherry subdivision. The property is currently zoned AOI, and the request is for a C3 general business zoning. The applicant is Noralinda Garza, in care of Javier Hinojosa, and if the council is inclined to approve this rezoning request, it would require the adoption of an ordinance. On September 22nd, 2017, the Planning and Zoning Commission held...
Where are you going? Don't take us with you.
On September 22nd, 2017, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing to consider this rezoning request. The subject site is located approximately a quarter mile north of Griffin Parkway along the east side of Sherry Road. The surrounding zonings are agriculture open interim to the north, east, and south. And to the west, you have a 3-acre tract that is zoned general commercial. And this is similar to the one that was just approved. There is a residence towards the back of the lot, and the desire is to rezone the front portion of the lot to C3 general business. And just like the other item, we did have a public hearing where notices were sent out. There was no opposition against this rezoning request, and the board unanimously recommended approval. Staff is also recommending approval, as is our city manager. This is a public hearing. Item 1.1B is now before you.
Anybody in favor or against this request? Anybody in favor or against? Ordinance number 4560, and Planning and Zoning is recommending it,
I move to approve.
and the staff is also recommending it, and Mr. Plata is also making the motion. Do you have a second? Who's the second?
Me, Ms.
Jessica Ochoa. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. We have, this is, Garza abstaining, and she has signed the regular paperwork. Motion carries. So, item C,
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 1.1C is a public hearing for a rezoning of 1.242 acres out of Lot 265, John H. Sherry subdivision, from AOI to R1, and the applicant is Noralinda Garza, in care of Javier Hinojosa. And if the council is inclined to approve this rezoning request, it would require the adoption of an ordinance. On September 27th, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing to consider this rezoning request. The subject site is located approximately a quarter mile north of Griffin Parkway along the east side of Sherry Road. The surrounding zones include AOI to the north, east, and south, and general commercial C3 to the west. And this is the remaining portion of Ms. Garza's property. Right now, it's currently zoned AOI, and because there's a house on there, she wants to rezone it to R1. And the R1 proposal acclimates to the single-family zonings already in the area. There was no public opposition during the P&Z meeting. The board unanimously recommended approval. Staff and our city manager are also recommending approval. This is a public hearing. Item 1.1C is now before you.
anybody in favor or against this request? Anybody in favor or against? If not, the ordinance is 4561, the Planning and Zoning is recommending it, staff is recommending it,
I'll make a motion.
and Mr. Plata is making the motion, so I need a second.
Second.
We have Mr. Jessica seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Item D,
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 1.1D is a public hearing for a conditional use permit for non-residential parking on lots 2 and 3, block 183, Mission Original Town Site. The property is zoned R1, and the applicant is Jaime Valdez. And if the council is inclined to approve this conditional use permit, it would require the adoption of an ordinance. On September 22nd, 2017, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing to consider this conditional use permit request. The subject site is located near the Canal and West 12th Street intersection along the east side of Canal Avenue. The request before the council is to consider permitting the use of an R1 lot to be used as a parking in conjunction with the commercial auto body shop owned by the applicant. The commercial development is doing well, and the applicant needs additional parking in order to store vehicles that are either waiting to be repaired or that have been repaired already. Access to the site will be strictly from Canal Avenue, and the hours of operation will be limited between the hours of 8 and 5 p.m., which coincide with the body shop. There was no public opposition during the P&Z meeting. The board unanimously recommended approval, and staff is recommending approval subject to a one-year reevaluation, the installation of a solid buffer along the whole perimeter of the two lots, compliance with landscaping, and an all-weather surface parking area. Our city manager is also recommending approval. This is a public hearing. Item 1.1D is now before you.
Okay, so anybody in favor or against this request? Anybody in favor or against? If not, the ordinance is 4562. Planning and zoning is approving it.
Move to approve.
Second.
Staff is recommending it. Mr. Plata is recommending it and also making the motion, and second by Ms. Garza. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Item E.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 1.1E is a conditional use permit for 2 drive-through service windows for snow cone stands at 1610 East Griffin Parkway, being Lot 19 of Block 1, Oakwood Estate Subdivision. The property is zoned C3, and the applicant is Margie Jennifer Briceño. And if the council is inclined to approve this conditional use permit, it would require the adoption of an ordinance. On September 27, 2017, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing to consider this conditional use permit request. The subject site is located at the northwest corner of Griffin Parkway and River Oak Avenue along the north side of Griffin Parkway. The applicant is requesting a CUP for a snow cone stand with 2 drive-through service windows. Access to the site will be strictly off of Griffin Parkway via a driveway that will lead traffic in and around the building and back out to Griffin Parkway. The hours of operation are every day from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. with a total of 4 employees manning the operation. For a building of this size, code requires 4 parking spaces, which the applicant intends to construct along the front of the building. And we also consider the cars that will be stacking also as parking spaces, so she's exceeding the parking requirements. Landscaping and buffering will also be installed to meet city codes. And we have seen several of these snow cone stands in the past, especially along 495. There's one a couple of blocks to the west, and they've been working without any issues. There was no opposition during the P&Z meeting. The board unanimously recommended approval. Staff is recommending approval subject to a one-year reevaluation to assess this new operation. Our city manager is also recommending approval. This is a public hearing. Item 1.1E is now before you.
The snow cone stand.
This is for the approval, Mayor, of 2 drive-throughs windows. The actual building is a proposed building. This is not a portable building. What is being proposed here is the permit for the drive-through windows.
Okay, so they're buildings.
And we did receive a full set of plans for the building, and it's going to be made out of stucco. It's not like a typical wooden structure. This is actually a rendering of the elevations.
Anybody in favor or against this request? Anybody in favor or against?
Is this the gentleman that has the place on?
No, it's not Elgin.
So the ordinance is 4563.
I'll move to approve it.
Second, Mayor.
Planning and zoning has recommended it for 1 year, and staff is recommending it, and Mr. Plata is making a motion, and Dr. O'Connor is seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. But it's not a stand, it is not a mini
It's not a
cart.
portable, it's not a portable building, sir. This is an actual construction of a proposed building.
Okay.
The permit is for the drive-through windows.
Okay, item F.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 1.1F is a public hearing for a conditional use permit for the sale and on-site consumption of alcoholic beverages at Dai Tang Restaurant Number 2. The address is 2400 Brock Street, Suite 1, being Lot 23, Sherry Business Center Subdivision. The property is owned C3 General Commercial, and the applicant is Lin Ming Du. And if the council is inclined to approve this conditional use permit, it would require the adoption of an ordinance. On September 27, 2017, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing to consider this conditional use permit request. The subject site is located within a commercial plaza approximately 420 feet south of Griffin Parkway along the east side of Sherry Road. And what we have here, Mayor and Council, is Dai Tang had been operating at this location or next to it on lots 21 and 22, and they have moved out of 21 and 22, and they've moved into the corner building. So they were previously awarded a conditional use permit for the sale of alcohol, but since it's not transferable to the new location, even though it is next door, thus the need for a new conditional use permit. This is a rendering showing how the new restaurant was remodeled and the way it currently looks today. The hours of operation are every day from 11 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. A total of 16 employees man the operation. With regards to parking, there are a total of 153 parking spaces that are held in common at this commercial development. Since there are no churches or schools within 300 feet of the subject site, the sale of alcohol is, and since the sale of alcohol is not the primary use, staff does not object to this proposal. There was no public opposition during the P&Z meeting. The board unanimously recommended approval. Staff is recommending approval of the CUP for a period of 2 years, at which time the applicant will have to renew their TABC license. And we also recommend that they update their business license to include the new address. Our city manager is also recommending approval. This is a public hearing. Item 1.1F is now before you.
Anybody in favor, against this request? Anybody in favor, against this request? The ordinance is 4564. Planning and zoning is recommending it. Staff is also recommending it. And we do have a motion made by Mr. Plata,
Second.
second by Ms. Garza. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Disposition of minutes that we had on the city council meeting on September the 25th of 2017. We do need a motion to approve those minutes.
So,
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. To acknowledge the minutes for the receipts of the minutes for the Traffic Safety Committee on May the 16th of 2017. Zoning Board of Adjustments on August the 16th of 2017. And Planning and Zoning Commission that we had on August the 23rd of 2017 and September the 13th of 2017. We do need a motion to acknowledge those receipts of minutes.
To approve, Mayor.
second.
We do have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Against, motion carries. 4.1, Mr. Acevedo.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 4.1 is a preliminary plat approval for Taurus Estates Number 22 subdivision, a 12.559 acre tract of land being on the north side of an apparent existing 150-foot UID canal right-of-way and all of the northeastern portions of Lot 36-2 West Addition to Shareland subdivision. This is in our suburban ETJ, and the developer is Barbar LLC, which is in care of Leonel Bazan, and the engineer is HLG Plan Review Process. The subject site is located at the southwest corner of Los Ebanos and Mile 4 Road North, and the applicant, Mr. Bazan, is proposing 17 lots in total. Eight of those lots will be either residential or commercial, fronting 4 Mile Road, and the remaining 9 lots will have access to Los Ebanos, and they'll be all residential lots. All lots are over half an acre in size, thus they're meeting the county requirements for septic tanks. The subdivision will have septic tanks. The nearest sewer line is 0.8 miles away. P&Z recommended approval. Staff is also recommending approval, as is our city manager. Item 4.1 is now before you.
Any questions on the recommendation?
I have a question, Mayor.
Go ahead.
You noted here that we're going to septic tanks because the city of Mission has no CCN there. Who has the CCN for that area?
It's ours, but we don't have the
We don't have any sewer lines up there yet.
services there yet. We will probably have them there with the, isn't this part of the, no, but it's from,
No, this is not part of the EDAP program. That's one of the things that we looked at. The EDAP program is between Benson Palm and La Homa, north of 4 Mile Line.
no, we do have some, Doctor, but it's from between Benson and La Homa all the way to the 7 Mile Line.
The closest one that I'm aware of here, Mayor, is the one at 4 Mile Line in Trosper, am I correct?
Yeah, it was almost a mile away.
Almost a mile away.
We're about a mile away.
Yes, sir.
The question is not how far, the question is, there's a note here that says that this area that our city of Mission has no CCN. That's the
Well,
question.
maybe we're in the CCN de McAllen.
That's
Are we in the
that's
CCN
the
of
concern
McAllen?
that I have, Mayor.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it's closer to the McAllen CCN.
Is it possible to maybe do an application for transition for CCN? So we
Well,
can-
maybe
so-
we would talk to McAllen.
I mean, I don't want to put a stop to it.
Yeah.
My question has nothing to do
Yes,
with
yes.
with the septic tank. So I'm for the approval of the septic tank, so the subdivision can go through. The concern that I have is if it's...
Is whether or not it's in our CCN or not.
If it's, I mean, we're growing north, this are coming over here, and if it's not our CCN, whose is it? And is it possible for us to acquire it?
But,
To look at the extension or an interlocal or something with, so sewer, eventually they'll get sewer services in that area.
It's possible that this is McAllen CCN, because I did write that in the initial write-up to the Planning and
Yeah,
Zoning
but
Commission.
I'm just reading what the notes that are provided here for
Well,
me.
north of our line is McAllen.
It is on the north side of Forma.
Hmm?
Yeah, it's probably in McAllen's. I know Ms. Aniceto Izaguirre and Diana tried to stay away from the McAllen sewer, but it's a long stretch to extend the sewer lines to the cities.
How far is that away from Waits Elementary?
I don't know if we can see it on the vicinity map.
Who's the engineer?
Waits is at 2.5, isn't it, Mayor?
Yeah,
It's at 2.5 north.
quite a bit away. It's not even shown here on the vicinity map. It's over a mile away, because it's not even shown on the vicinity map.
It's north of 2 Mile Line, Waits on Trosper. 2.5, maybe 2 3/4.
Well,
Just research.
Okay.
it's something to look at later on.
Yeah.
Okay, we need a motion to...
I so move, Mayor.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the recommendations. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Item 4.2.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 4.2 is also a preliminary plat approval for Yareli Estate subdivision, a 10.06 acre tract of land being all of Lot 59, Nick Doffing Company subdivision number 3. This is also in our rural ETJ, and the developers Bar LLC in care of Leonel Bazan. The engineer is HLG Plan Review Processes. The subject site is located at the northwest corner of Minnesota Road and 5 Mile North Road. The applicant is proposing 3 commercial lots and 6 single-family residential lots, all exceeding half an acre in size. Septic tanks will be permitted since this is not within the City of Mission's sewer CCN, and the nearest sewer line, I believe, is 1.33 miles, or 1 1/3 miles away. The Planning and Zoning recommended approval. Staff is also recommending approval, as is our city manager. Item 4.2 is now before you.
The recommendation would be to approve. Any questions on the recommendation?
I move for approval as presented.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the recommendation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Item 4.3.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 4.3 is a final plat approval for Eduardo's number 15 subdivision. This is a 6.64 acre tract of land out of Lot 34-3 West Edition of Chevroland subdivision. This is also in our suburban ETJ, and the developer is Diana Laura Izaguirre. The engineer is Izaguirre Engineering Group, LLC. The subject site is located a quarter mile north of 3 Mile Road between Trosper and Los Ebanos Road. The applicant is proposing 24 single-family residential lots with city sewer. The applicant did pay sewer capital fees and sewer tap fees in the amount of $12,444. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval. Staff is also recommending approval, as is our city manager. Item 4.3 is now before you.
The recommendation is to go ahead and approve. We do need a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Second.
The motion is second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. Item 4.4.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 4.4 is the approval of an ordinance to abandon a dedicated utility easement at Adams Crossing, Lot Number 1. This is a rendering showing the utility easement that is in question. There is a 10-foot utility easement that will be relocated, and the applicant is seeking that this 10-foot utility easement be abandoned. Staff is recommending approval, as is our city manager. Item 4.
What's the ordinance number?
4565.
Relocated where?
It's going to be along the front side of 495 where there's already a utility easement. What you had there is a water line that fed a fire hydrant that was along 495, and now that water line is going to be coming along the north side of 495.
So there aren't any utilities in that?
There was no other utilities other than that water line feeding that fire hydrant, correct?
I move for approval.
Second.
We do have a motion and second to go ahead and approve ordinance 4565. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries. 4.5. Staff?
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. I come before you to present item 4.5, authorization to award bid for the construction of West Can Lane, Snowbird State Subdivision. We received 9 bid responses for a 30-foot curb and gutter pavement street for West Can Lane. To award 5-Star Galaxy Construction, who was the lowest responsible bidder, meeting all those specifications, in the amount of $160,000. Staff and city manager recommends approval.
We need a motion on the recommendation.
I move to approve.
Second.
We do have a motion and second to approve the recommendation. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Roberto Molino. Sawaya.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. Item 4.6 is the contract renewal for Teller Technology, a sole source vendor for the city's online payment software for utility payment. We have a yearly fee of $10,000 for the renewal period of October 1st, 2017 through September 30th, 2018. Staff and city manager approval.
The recommendation is to approve.
Yes, sir.
Give me a motion.
Approve, Mayor.
Second.
We do have a motion and a second to approve the recommendation. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries.
Thank you.
Mayor, I have a question. Mr. Guzman, how many residents use online services to pay their water bill?
We have about 5,000 right now, on an average of 5,000. We actually have like twice as much, about 8,000 that are actually set online, but we only have like 5,000 that actually pay. Some pay and some don't, depending on the amounts.
Okay, thank
There are a
you.
lot of
Yes,
people
ma'am.
using it.
Mind me?
That's very good.
Yes, thank you.
4.7, ordinance 4566.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Item 4.7 is the approval of an ordinance adopting the unanimous settlement agreement on June 15, 2017. Texas Gas Service Company filed the City of Mission and other affected Rio Grande Valley service area municipalities a statement of intent to increase their annual revenue by $5.17 million within the Rio Grande Valley service area. The full settlement agreement was negotiated through the Lloyd Gosling attorneys and reduced the Texas Gas Service request from 5.7 to 4.1 million, which reflects an increase of, currently it's at $11.25 current charge, and the new rate will be $15.52. That was the settlement agreement for the coalition of cities that entered into this settlement agreement. Staff recommendation is approval of this ordinance for the settlement agreement.
Any questions from the council? The ordinance is 4566.
Move to approve.
Second.
Do have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the recommendation, and also approve ordinance 4566. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
4.8. Ms. Carrillo.
Yes, Mayor, Council, good afternoon. Item 4.8 are some board appointments. One for the ambulance board, appoint Mr. Kane Dawson to replace Mr. Javier Iruegas, term to expire December 31st of 2017. The Mission Economic Development Authority, Mission Economic Development Corporation, and Mission Education Development Council. These are all the boards, the same boards where all of these members serve. This is to appoint Mr. Mario Garza to replace Jody Tittle, term to expire December 31st of 2018. And on the Parks and Recreation Board, we had Mr. Pat Townsend, who resigned from the board. So recommendation is to appoint Mr. Jody Tittle to finish off that term to expire December 31st of 2018.
So Mario Garza is on the MEDC,
Yes, sir.
and Mr. Tittle goes into Parks.
The Parks and Rec Board, yes, sir.
And the ambulance?
The ambulance board would be Mr. King Dawson, who is the current CEO at Mission Hospital, and he's to take Mr. Iruegas' position.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the recommendations. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Tito, for everything. Go ahead, Mr. Benson.
Welcome aboard, Jody. Yes, Mayor, City Council. I have before you item 4.19. It's approval of interlocal agreement between City of Mission and Mission Consolidated Independent School District regarding Mission Lions Park and Hollis Rutledge Hollis Rutledge Senior Park. This agreement is for the 2017-2018 school board. I'm going to look and see what I have written here. The agreement is for the 2017-2018 school year baseball and softball practice at a cost of $1,500 to the school. Agreement is to be presented for approval at Mission School Board meeting scheduled for October 11, 2017. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
Can I ask why they're using these fields for practice?
This is a new program the school districts have just instilled. They're starting at the junior high level to where they can start training the kids and getting them a little bit more developed, because they have the boys club and just intramural between the lower grades, but the 7th grade tend to be left out.
Okay.
And anyway, so they're honing the kids to get them ready for high school baseball and then on ready for
So
college ball.
they're needing additional fields,
Right.
basically.
I don't anticipate this. It might last for about a year while they have time to prepare the interlocal area for
Okay.
their programs.
Good. I move for approval.
Second, Mayor.
Do have a motion and a second to approve the staff recommendation. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries.
Thank you.
Chief Dominguez.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. Item 4.10 is the authorization to purchase 15 Hard-Sane SAM 350P automatic external defibrillators via state-approved contract by board contract number 530-17. The AEDs will be used to help save the lives of citizens experiencing heart attack trauma. Police officers will be trained in the proper usage of the AEDs. The cost is $13,005. The AEDs will be purchased through the Police Department's Federal Drug Forfeiture account. Staff and the city manager recommend approval for this item.
I move for approval.
Second, Mayor.
Do have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Do you have any questions, Chief?
Mayor, I'd like to take the opportunity to invite the general public and yourself and the council, Mayor, to the Dias de los Muertos celebration. We celebrate that on October the 21st from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at our museum here in the city of Mission. And we're going to have not only a community altar exhibit, but certainly some vendors and some food out there for the people to come by and participate. In front of the council, we do have a little token of appreciation from the Girl Scout Troop 1042 from the city of Mission. It is something they put together as an invitation for the council to be reminded and be invited and involved in this October 21st celebration. So welcome you all and the public to attend. That's all I have, Mayor.
Anybody else? If not,
Good work.
we do have executive session.
Mayor, I move that we move into executive session pursuant to VTCA Government Code Section 551.001.
We do have a motion and a second to go into executive session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries.
I move we reconvene, Mayor.
Motion to reconvene.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to reconvene. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, coming out of executive session, we were considering 7.1A, consultation with attorney in consideration of proposed settlement offer regarding pending litigation in City of Mission versus City of Palmview, cause number C, 439117A. If the council wishes to take action, we would need a motion to authorize the mayor and/or city manager to execute all documents necessary to settle the litigation in City of Mission versus City of Palmview, cause number C, 439117A, as per the agreement filed by the city attorneys of each party in said cause.
So move, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries.
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carries.